Hello and welcome everyone. I'm Kimberly Boschman and this is the Intentionally Intuitive Podcast. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the forecast for each life path number for the new moon that's coming up on October 21st, 2025. Before we get into the forecast, this of course is a general reading. If you would like your own personal numerology reading, please book some time with me. I'd love to work with you. If you're interested, you can find my information in the description box below and book some time with me. All right, let's go ahead and take a look. Life path number 1, you're going to be working with the vibration of the 14-5 for this new moon, and this is karmic energy. And really all that means is that things that you sort of initiate at this time or things that you're moving through could require a bit more effort. Like things might take a lot longer to see, things come to fruition, or you might have to, put in extra hours, a little bit more blood, sweat, and tears in order to see the results that you're hoping to see. So really, so much about this energy, especially because you have the vibration of the 4 here, it's requiring you to get focused, to get serious, to have a game plan, to stop procrastinating if you've been procrastinating, and kind of put your nose to the grindstone in order to see things through to completion, right? But because ultimately this is 5 energy, there's something here about doing things differently, seeing things from a different point of view, expanding or growing or changing things up in some way that could be quite significant and that could kind of create some kind of upheaval to the status quo, to the way that you've been, again, approaching something or dedicating your time and energy towards something. So you might need to switch some things up. That's very, very possible. And you probably going to have to be quite adaptable through that process, especially with the core energy being 5. But there is definitely a strong need to pay attention to the details, to not just be focused on the bigger picture, but to focus on the details, to see what needs your attention, what needs reworking, where is your commitment really needed now, and where is it that you're really being asked, again, to not give up too quickly, but to put in the sort of the elbow grease and to put in the work and the effort to continue to show up and to reach the goal, whatever the goal may be for you. But again, it's an interesting contrast here because it's asking you to think outside the box, to be a bit more progressive and maybe even more unconventional in your approach. So kind of releasing the need for control certainly comes into the conversation here around this new moon. But not losing your head, like not just sort of again, throwing the baby out with the bathwater, but being strategic in any new, like offering or action that you might be taking. And again, not giving up too quickly, sticking to it, and you will see the results. With the 4 energy here, you will see the results. It's just going to take a little bit more time and effort in order to get your return of investment, but you will. It'll come. So beautiful energy here. I hope it's a great one. Take care. Life path number 2, you're going to be working with a vibration of the 15-6. So the 15-6, really at the core of this is the vibration, obviously, of the 6, which is about love, like unconditional love, truth, honesty, having a greater conversation, things bubbling to the surface that need to be addressed or worked through that can no longer be denied or swept under the rug type of thing. A 6 cycle has a tendency to bring the truth to the surface so that we can see it, deal with it, move through it, and hopefully embrace it, right? And so if there's those greater conversations that need to be had, and really it's likely going to be with like family, partners, close friends, maybe people within your tight-knit community. If those conversations need to be had or the elephant in the room needs to be dealt with, this is going to be the time you're going to have to do that. There's kind of no escaping it. And it could be very uncomfortable if you choose to try to avoid it. And so this is an opportunity to take charge and to, face head on whatever needs to be faced, especially if it's something that has been kind of making you feel uncomfortable or unseen or, not heard, or feeling like things just aren't working in some area of your life. This is an opportunity to address that and to be truthful and honest and vulnerable in that process. Now, it's interesting because the vibration of the 15 brings in sort of restrictions and bondage and conditions, right? Or expectations. So it's very possible, because relationships are likely going to be, at the forefront, right? Center stage around this new moon. It's very possible that some of those conversations are going to be about what expectations others may be putting on you, what kind of restrictions you feel like you're being faced with, or restrictions that you're putting on yourself, right? Maybe it's a self-imposed prison of self-doubt that you're going to have to move through. Or again, maybe you have certain expectations for yourself that are unrealistic, and you're going to have to kind of move through that in order to open yourself up to greater grace and greater understanding for yourself. It could also be where someone else is bringing to your attention where they feel overly restricted or where you have high expectations of them that they're not able to meet at this moment. So there's a lot here about, again, looking at the expectations, the conditions that are either being put on you or that you're putting on others, and addressing that and understanding what everyone needs within the situation and finding a way to, I don't want to say accommodate, but to find common ground so that everyone feels like they're getting what they need within that connection. So really beautiful energy here, but it can be very sensitive. It can also be like emotionally difficult because, again, it can feel uncomfortable, right? Because you're likely going to have to be vulnerable and, again, have those conversations. But at the end of the day, it clears out any of those misunderstandings, any of those expectations that are, again, unrealistic and unachievable, that are holding you back or holding the other person back or holding the relationship back. So it's worth having those conversations. And also, this is a new moon. So this is an opportunity for a new lease on life when it comes to yourself, self-love, your relationships, how you show up to those connections, etc. So it's worth it. It's worth it to have the conversation. All right, take care. Bye for now. Life path number 3, you're going to be working with the vibration of the 16-7 for this new moon. This is interesting energy because the 16-7, it can be a little bit of a bear to move through when it comes in a cycle. In tarot, it's the tower energy, right? And so I don't say that to like scare you or be like, oh gosh, this is going to be so difficult, because it doesn't have to be. Tower energy is that of an awakening, a greater understanding, like an aha moment that can feel a little intense when you're in it, but it usually clears the way or, sort of removes the veil so that you can see very clearly what needs to change, where, what action needs to be taken. Maybe you were seeing something that wasn't the full story or wasn't the truth of the situation, and the 16-7 can really just make it crystal clear. And then it's up to you what kind of action you take from that greater awareness. And with the 16-7, a lot of times, because it kind of will focus on something in the physical, right? Something in the physical needs to be reworked, changed in some way, dismantled in some way. There needs to be some kind of shift. And it's that shift within the physical experience that then opens us up to something of a higher perspective, a greater understanding from like a more spiritual sort of lens, right? It kind of strips away the grip of the ego. If we have if we're seeing things from through the lens of our ego in that situation or that relationship or whatever, the 16-7 can put us through the ringer sometimes in the physical to help us to open up to something bigger, right? A greater understanding. And then once we tap into that greater understanding around whatever this is, then again, we can take better action. We can take more informed action. We can sort of override the ego and let the soul come through to step in the driver's seat. And then it's kind of like the decisions that we're making around whatever it is feel much more aligned, we can feel much more like we're in the flow, right? So again, it's nothing to kind of fear, right? It is possible that around this new moon, you will get some kind of new awakening, new awareness, greater understanding. Again, being able to see things from a bigger perspective. Maybe it's something you've been moving through, and now you're getting that bigger understanding of sort of why you had to move through it and the wisdom that you gained from that experience. That's very possible as well. Can be very like evolutionary type of energy. And it's that kind of energy where it's like, we wouldn't have been able to see it as clearly or in the same light as we will be able to, having moved through a 16/7 cycle, right? So some area of your life is about to get a glow up, right? Where you're able to see, again, very clearly the next steps. You might have to, again, though, move through some shifts, some changes, some reworking in order to make that, or sort of move in that direction, right? So it's a very powerful cycle to move through. It can be a little challenging when you're in it, but it serves such a great purpose that it's so entirely worth it to move through it. So yeah, go with the flow, be adaptable. This is an opportunity for greater self-discovery. Anytime we move through a 7 cycle, greater self-discovery, better understanding of self, of others, of the universe, and kind of putting all the puzzle pieces together. So it serves such a great purpose. So enjoy it. Hope it's a great one. Take care. Life path number 4, you all are going to be working with the vibration of the 17/8. Love this for 4s. Absolutely love it. It's a beautiful vibration. It's very benefic. It's basically the star card in tarot. So it's like your wish is coming true. You've worked really hard for whatever this is, though. This is not energy that's just like handed over to you. This is something that you've been really dedicated to. You've been putting your work, your energy into it. You're working hard towards whatever this is. And now you're seeing some kind of breakthrough. You're seeing some kind of reward or return of investment. And this is a kind of energy that reminds you that you are the magician, right? Like you create the magic. Sometimes it can take a long time to see that magic come to fruition, right? Or to take shape. But under a 17/8 cycle, you can really start to see the fruits of your labor. You can really start to see your bigger goals being reached, your wishes coming true, your dreams being, coming into reality to some degree. So it's such a beautiful cycle. Even when things go wrong in this cycle, they also feel like they're going right. You know what I mean? So they have a way of working out and almost effortlessly. But again, I will say it isn't effortlessly because you've put in the work in order to receive this abundance, these accolades, the rewards, whatever it is that's coming your way now. And it will also mention it doesn't necessarily have to be massive or grandiose, right? It can be those small wins, those subtle pieces that come in that just make things work or make things feel lighter or feel like you're supported. And that can be a game changer in a lot of situations. So again, very benefic, especially when it comes to the physical experience, right? So money, power, status, influence, resources, your home, buying or selling a home, something like that. Your career, right? How you make money. All of that is kind of under this 17/8 energy. And so you could see again, maybe a promotion, maybe an uptick in sales or clients or recognition or accolades coming in at this time that really kind of can boost your, I don't want to say boost your ego, but it can like boost, put the wind back in your sails. It can remind you of why you're doing the work that you're doing. Or if it's in a relationship, it can remind you of why it's worth putting in the effort into that relationship. So yeah, for some of you, this would be a great time for a launch, for, again, putting in for a new job if you want to do that. If you're looking for a promotion, this would be a great time to pursue that. Anything that will help you to either become a greater expert in your field, that will help you to express yourself in a way that where you're expressing your gifts or your expertise, that's very much favored at this time. And you're likely to get the help that you need in order to get the success, right? To reach your goals. So great time also for like higher learning, again, that will help you to become the expert in the field, whatever it may be. So really powerful energy here, but it can feel so much like respite after, for 4s, right? Because we have to typically work pretty hard for what we receive. So when things start to just work, or we get the green lights, or we don't have to like put in as much effort, it can feel like, a celebration. And so, yeah, just remember, you've put in the work though. You've earned this. You've done the work necessary. So very benefic energy, beautiful time to ask for the assistance you need. And don't be afraid to, ask a higher up if you need that assistance, because you might see that door open at this time. Beautiful energy. I hope it's a great one. Take care, Fours. Bye for now. Life path number 5, you all are going to be working with the vibration of the 18-9 for this illumination. And this is really a time to slow down, especially if you have felt like you have just been like being pulled in a million different directions. Your hands have been in a million different pots. Maybe you just had a lot going on. This is a time when I would say just hit the pause button. Take a few days, because this full moon, it's going to be most potent, this new moon, it's going to be most potent probably a couple days before, a couple days after, certainly at the time of the new moon. But I would say if you can, this is a great time for a staycation or a vacation, or to clear your calendar just to focus on you, self-soothe, your own self-care. This can bring in an opportunity for greater healing, right? But you've got to create the space for that. If you're moving it again at a million miles an hour and you're just trying to achieve everything all at once, you're not going to give yourself the time and space you need to allow for that rejuvenation, right? But this can definitely be a greater time for healing connections, relationships, healing belief systems, anything that needs some TLC. This is such a beautiful cycle for that. And in doing so and creating the space to allow for that, you're opening yourself up to greater opportunities, right? Because you're not being like sort of burdened by the things that are holding you back or weighing you down. So this is a really great time to, again, unplug if you can, and just do the things that bring you joy, that feel easy, that feel light, that don't feel too heavy. And you'll see sort of that healing energy come through. Also, for some of you, this could be about tapping into some of your greater gifts. Maybe you recognize that you have a certain talent that you didn't realize you had. Anytime we move through a 9 cycle, the veil is pretty thin, and we can kind of tap into some of those greater gifts that we have. And yeah, so it could open you up to sharing even another part of yourself. Down the road, though, take a moment for, take a pause and give yourself the time that you need to rejuvenate, right? So, or just to relax or to do what you enjoy. Take some of the pressure off a little bit. Disconnect if you need to, and just give yourself the time and space to, again, fill up your cup. Because especially if you've been feeling depleted, this is such a beautiful energy to help you to feel renewed. You could also see renewals when it comes to some of your relationships or some of your projects that you're working on, like getting new insights or feeling like you got that sort of the wind back in your sails. I wouldn't say that this is a time to initiate those new changes or those new beginnings, but you can feel that regeneration, right? But give yourself a couple of days to kind of like just be still, to sink into receptivity and to see what presents to you. That's how you're going to get the most out of this cycle. Hope it's a great one. Take care. Life path number 6, you all are going to be working with the vibration of the 19-1. So this is a beautiful cycle, but it is karmic. And so usually what that means when we move through a karmic cycle is things just require a bit more effort. Things require a lot more kind of putting your energy into it, committing to it, seeing it through to completion, right? So you could feel that around this new moon. Now, again, it's a shorter cycle. It's only for like a few days, most potent around the new moon. But it could just feel like there's some challenges that require a lot more effort than you really want to put into it. But I would say it's worth putting in the effort, seeing it through to completion, and cleaning up, getting rid of, or closing out things that need to be closed out. And I say that because the 19-1 is also about beginnings, new beginnings, regeneration, new starts, new opportunities on a pretty big scale. So you could see a lot of new opportunities come in, a lot of opportunities for a fresh set of eyes, new perspective, new ideas. Again, new opportunities, new starts could come in around this new moon. Now you all have this like almost beautiful alchemical energy that you're working with, because you're working with a 19-1, which is about new beginnings and again, like regeneration, new chapters, right? Fresh new starts. And you're also working, with this around the new moon. So for you all, this is a very potent time to, get started, to take action. This is not an idle energy at all. There's a lot of one energy here. So this is bringing the spotlight back on you and asking you what it is that you want and helping you to decide what actions you need to take in order to move in that direction. But this is about getting started. This is not about like sitting back and thinking about what you want. This is about taking the action to achieve that, to reach your goals. But you have to you have to take the action. You have to get started. The 19-1 is also a love vibration. So for some of you, this could be a new relationship, a new pet, also new friend, something like that. But like a deeper soul connection is very, very possible around this new moon. And it could definitely bring some greater insights and new opportunities into your life. So pay attention to who enters your life at this time around this new moon. It could definitely be like a business partnership or someone who has similar values or ideas that you can work with in order to achieve some of your greater goals. Very, very beautiful energy here. But this again is not an energy where you can just kind of kick back and let things kind of happen. You have to take the initiative. You need to be motivated and, go for it. And you'll be rewarded for that for sure with this energy. So beautiful. Hope it's a great one. Take care. Bye for now. Life path number 7, you're going to be working with the vibration of the 22, so 202. Lots of twos here. And so relationships are definitely center stage for you all, but just really kind of like any kind of relationship, right? Like any connection that you might make. Also, you can see a lot of healing within your connections, a lot of coming together, opportunities to sort of mend any bridges that might have been broken. Also to find ways to find the common ground, to see eye to eye, to compromise where compromise is needed in order to, again, sort of meet in the middle. That's very, very possible at this time. So having the conversations, connecting, again, being curious and sort of wanting to understand the other person and what the other person needs, and also being able to express your needs to the other person is going to be really important. It could also come in, again, like new connections, because you have the vibration of the 0 here, which means this is an opportunity for a new beginning. And a new beginning that you're gonna play a really big role in creating what it looks like. So you might connect with people who are very different from you, who you wouldn't have thought you would ever connect with in a million years. You might find yourself connecting with these individuals, and it can open you up to, again, like a greater perspective, a greater understanding of how to truly connect with another person, right? And to be able to express your own needs, etc. So there's a lot here about collaboration, working together with another, putting in the effort and understanding that you play a role in how successful this connection is. Meaning, how you show up, how you express yourself, how you share what you need, as well as being open to the needs of the other. This is a beautiful cycle, especially at a new moon, to create the relationships of your dreams, right? It doesn't just have to be romantic partnerships. It can be any connection. You really have a beautiful opportunity around this new moon to sort of find your people, you know what I mean? Like, but not only that, but learn something about yourself as well. And how you're showing up to connections, to take a closer look at that and see if there's any changes that need to be made, so that you can feel good and those who are connecting with you can also feel good. This could come in, or this could be a period also where you need to make some very decisive decisions, where you have to get serious about something. You could find yourself at some kind of a crossroads where a decision needs to be made. And then once you make that decision, then you have that vibration of the 0 coming in that's saying, okay, you've made the decision. Now we're going to move in that direction. So what do you want it to look like? Now, you've got the pen and the ink in your hand. You get to write the story as you move forward. But there's likely going to be a decision that has to be made, or several that'll have to be made at this time in order for you to start on the next path. And it could be with a relationship or many relationships. That's very, very possible. But I do see kind of like a decision needing to be made at this time in some area of your life. And it's not one where I would say, sort of delegate it out to someone else to decide for you. This is a time where you've got to follow your inner guidance, your inner knowing, couple that with the information that you have, and make the decision that's best for you in this moment, and not second guess yourself, but stay true to that decision. And then you get to create whatever it is, whatever storyline you want to create after that decision is made. Hope it's a great one. Take care, sevens. Bye for now. Life path number 8, you all are going to be working with the vibration of the 21-3 for this new moon. And so this is an interesting energy for 8s to work with. And it's a shorter cycle. It's only really a few days long, but it's an opportunity to kind of stop, look, and listen and to hit the pause button. So whether it's in a relationship, a creative project, a goal that maybe you're trying to achieve, this is a time when I would say you're not meant to push harder or try to force things to work, or sort of manipulate the situation to kind of make it work. And this is also not a time where I would say if something is not working, that it means it's not for you or it's time to give up. This is just simply an opportunity, again, to kind of slow down, pause, kind of really take in the surroundings, right? See what's really happening. Pay attention to the details, kind of recalibrate a little bit. And again, this isn't necessarily a period where I would say to take significant action, but kind of become the observer at this time within the situation to, again, assess what is working, what's not working, what does need to be recalibrated, what can you continue to build on, what needs to be released, right? And again, I wouldn't say to necessarily take those actions at this moment. It's more this is an opportunity to check in, right? Check in with the relationship, see how it's going, check in with your partner, check in with your friends, check in with yourself, check in, again, at how the project, whatever it might be, is progressing. And I think in doing so, in kind of slowing down, you'll be able to sort of see things much more clearly, right? You'll be able to understand what actions actually need to be taken or what the situation is trying to actually show you. If something is not working, then this is such a beautiful time to figure out what needs to be done in order to help it to work, right? Or to take a different risk, or maybe take a redirect or reroute. Anything is possible in this cycle, but it's just such a beautiful opportunity to pause and become the observer and not try to force things. It's definitely possible that things can work out almost seamlessly or almost as if by magic during this cycle. And those things, don't get in the way. Just let them work out, right? Let them flow, let them organically unfold to see what they want to show you or, what the next step is. But I'm more talking about those areas of your life where you've been feeling like it's just been a struggle, it's been taking a lot of effort, there's a lot of unknowns, you don't have all the information. It's just felt like it's required a lot of effort. This is a time to just hit the pause button and assess, right? Or reassess and figure out what's next. Because it is a new moon, so it's a new opportunity, and it's an opportunity to see things in a different light and to gain a new perspective. That's really the power of the 21-3 as well. And don't be afraid to, just kind of share ideas with others, to collaborate, to brainstorm with others during this time, because it can, again, open you up to a much bigger perspective or a greater understanding of the situation at hand. And I feel like if you are trying to force during this time, you're just going to end up frustrated or overwhelmed or just want to give up entirely. And so just take your time and you'll get the most out of this cycle. Hope it's a great one. Take care, 8s. Bye for now. Life path number 9, you're going to be working with the vibration of the 22-4 for this new moon. This is a beautiful cycle. When the 22-4 comes through in a cycle, it can be really powerful, really rewarding, especially in areas of your life where you've just been putting in a lot of effort, you've been showing up, you've been doing the work. Maybe you've been doing the work for years. When the 22-4 comes in a cycle, now this is a shorter cycle, so, I don't know how big it's going to feel for you because it's only a few days long, but 22-4 is a master number, so it can bring in master level results, right? So you could get that promotion, you could get, major recognition or accolades coming through from work that you have done, from your output, right? You're getting that return of investment. Very, very possible. Because it's a new moon and it's also this 22-4 cycle, you could be opened up to opportunities that could really catapult you in your career, in your professional life, in your personal life as well. Very, very possible. It's a time where you might find yourself, very busy, where you feel like you've got a lot of responsibility and a lot of different a lot of moving parts that need your attention, but you're very capable of addressing everything that needs to be addressed at this time. You'll definitely need to commit to something at this time and see it through to completion, but and recognize that it will likely take time and dedication and perseverance, but it will be worth the journey, and you will see the rewards in direct proportion to the effort that you put in. But ultimately, the 22-4, when it comes in a cycle, it's a rewarding period. And again, it can kind of level us up when it comes to, again, things that we've been working on, or how we contribute, or our career, relationships as well, and how we collaborate can definitely be in focus at this time as well. But it's a rewarding period. But with those rewards, or with those promotions or whatever, often will come greater responsibility. And so it can bring added stress, or again, busier days or whatnot. And so you just got to make sure that you're managing that and not burning the candle at both ends. Make sure that you're creating time for rest and rejuvenation and relaxation, and you're not just only focused on the output or producing or whatever. But overall, just an incredibly beautiful, rewarding period. And, it's a short cycle, so it doesn't have to be like this huge thing that comes in that just rocks your world, although it could, being a master number. It could be something very subtle, very soft, but that really has the potential to open a lot of doors for you in creating significant changes and, again, kind of catapulting you in some area of your life. So very, very powerful cycle for you all around this new moon. I hope it's a great one. Take care. Bye for now. Life Path 11, you all are going to be working with a vibration of the 24/6 for this new moon. This is a really beautiful energy. Ultimately, you're working with the vibration of the 6, so it can definitely bring things to the surface that, maybe you need to address. And relationships are absolutely center stage for this new moon for you all, because you're working with both the vibration of the 2 and the 6. And so, and also you got the vibration of the 4 here, so it's something foundational. So this could have to do with conversations that need to be had with certain family members, with friends, with maybe your boss or something like that. Like something to do with you having to be kind of vulnerable and express your feelings about the situation, but while also being curious to understand the other person as well. But the 6 has a tendency to bring to the surface what is not at the vibration of itself, right? So in other words, places or relationships in your life where there's not truth, honesty, love, whatever, or there's not that reciprocity, there could be an opportunity around this new moon to have those deeper conversations, or to express your needs, to express your truth of the situation, and what you want to see or what you need, etc., while also, again, being open to the other person. But it's likely that, and I often use this example when we're talking about 24/6 energy, the elephant kind of enters the room, and the elephant is not going to leave until whatever the situation is addressed. So you could see that come up around this new moon. Again, it's a shorter cycle. It's only for a few days where it's most potent. But things that you thought maybe were cleared up, or you had handled, or you understood, to do with maybe a parent or a sibling, could come back to the surface, or a partner or something like that, or a very close friend. Maybe you had a falling out with a friend. You could see that kind of resurface at this time to either heal the situation, come back together, move forward, or to fully release it, but in a healthier way. That's very possible. But it's just an opportunity to release any of the heavier burdens that might be weighing you down around these deeper connections. That's very, very possible. Again, because we have the vibration of the 4, so it's looking at like foundationally, where are the cracks, and where is it that, what needs to be done in order to mend those cracks. And again, because it's sitting between the 2 and the 6, this is relational. Like has to do with relationships, or like your home life, your family. Could also be like your living situation also. Like your home, your actual like your sanctuary where you go each day to feel sort of loved and supported, whether you're there alone or with someone else. But it's all kind of coming to the front of the room to be addressed, right? So some of you might be moving at this time, or selling or buying a new place. Something like that is very, very possible. You could have people coming into your home or leaving the home, marriages, divorces, having children, adoptions, all these new pets, right? Also pets leaving. So that's always possible under a 6 cycle, but could also be pets coming in. So, but home life is very much the focus, and relationships, and kind of, again, healing those relationships or those situations that need healing, whether that's with the other person or just energetically, so that you can set down the burden or the weight that you might have been carrying around that connection. It can be a little bit of a sensitive cycle, so, just be gentle with yourself as you move through it and the emotions that might come up for you. Hope it's a great one. Take care. Life Path 22-4. So we're going to be working with the vibration of the 35-8. This is an interesting cycle. And again, it's a shorter cycle. It's just around this new moon. So a few days, as we approach the new moon, and then a few days after. This is interesting because it's sort of a cycle where pretty much anything can happen. It's kind of just, it's kind of one of those energies where you kind of need to be prepared for whatever comes in and kind of figure it out as it comes in. It's not an energy that you can kind of control, right? Or figure out before you're given all the information. So you might find at this time, especially because it's an 8 cycle, that there's a lot more demand for your time, for your energy, for sort of output, that you have more responsibility at this time, and it requires more discipline. And sometimes with 22-4s, even though it's a very disciplined and dedicated energy, when there's a lot coming in at once, especially if there's frustration in the mix, we can get overwhelmed really easily. And then we just kind of move to, well, we're not doing anything then. We just kind of give up for a period of time, right? And so you just want to be careful about not getting too overwhelmed by all the moving parts or all the pieces, not having all the information, but still having to make some decisions. Just find your way through it slowly and methodically and peacefully as best as possible. And you'll figure it out. You'll get your strategy, you'll get your lists in order and get organized so that you can tackle whatever presents for you at this time. It can require, though, a lot more effort, a lot more sort of, again, output, energy. And so you might find yourself a little bit drained, or a little bit needing to make sure that you are very conscious of creating time and space for rest and relaxation, and doing things, again, that feel light and not a lot of brain power, right? You can just take your time and rejuvenate. So make sure that you're scheduling that in for yourself around this time, because you'll get through whatever is thrown your way, but you just want to make sure you're not doing it at your own detriment. So this could definitely be a cycle where you see, again, maybe you're promoted, or maybe there's an uptick in clients, or more sales, or just more responsibility, maybe at home, right? That comes your way, whether it's caring for someone or whatever it may be. Or maybe you're buying or selling something. And so that, again, there's this added responsibility, added pressure to make sure everything goes according to plan. So you can just feel that pressure a lot more pronounced at this time. And again, just make sure that you are just not running yourself too thin, right? This is at the heart of it, a money vibration. So again, you could see some kind of job advancement, uptick in clients, increase in salary. Inheritances also fall under this cycle, though. So that's very possible for some. Kind of keep that in mind. And then you can decide, again, what you want to do with that inheritance and how you want to kind of honor that, but also make the most of it. That gift that's kind of been bestowed on you. But again, I go back to the pressures of this period. So just be careful about it, allowing it to affect your health, letting you, again, become too drained, or worrying too much. This is one of those times where I would say, like I said, just see things as they present and then decide how you want to work with it. Come back to the present moment. That's what's going to serve you best at this time, is coming back to the now. Then you're going to be able to handle whatever is thrown your way. But you're not going to be able to kind of like anticipate it type of thing. It's not that kind of energy. It's more as it presents, face it head on and not get caught up in the worrying or the frustration of it if that presents. But it can also be really high energy at this time as well. So yeah, you could really feel like more alive, or like you have a lot more energy at this time. So you can definitely take advantage of the vitality that you might feel during this cycle. But again, I don't go to the point of depletion, because any extreme can be destructive or toxic. Anyway, yeah, it's kind of a grab bag. So see what comes in for you. But at the end of the day, it's things that can really catapult your career, take your business to the next level, or, see a uptick in finances, something like that. But it will come with that added pressure. So you just want to make sure that you are prepared for that. Hope it's a great one. Take care. Bye for now. Life Path 33-6. So you are going to be working with the vibration of the 46th one. This is beautiful energy. This is good karma. This is new opportunities. This can feel like success. This can also feel like a little nostalgic, like getting reacquainted with someone or something that feels really positive, that feels really refreshing and like rejuvenating. And can kind of like put the wind back in your sails, can make you feel like, can kind of take you back to a place where you feel whole, right? Whether it's just a memory or it's an old friend coming in, that you haven't seen in a while and you're reconnecting with. Incredibly beautiful energy is possible at this time. It is a shorter cycle, right? So make the most out of it. It's only a few days around this new moon, but a lot of goodness can come in just a few moments, right? So, and it might be a little bit more subtle. It might not be this big grandiose thing that comes in that just shocks your system, but it just is a tenderness, a softness that feels good, that feels like a warm, fuzzy blanket, whether it's, again, a visit from someone from your past, or a memory, or, some kind of accolade or recognition coming in at this time. It can really just boost your confidence, boost your self-esteem. It's just a very beautiful energy in that way. So pay attention to what's said, again, who tries to connect around this time, or again, like the deeper messages that you're receiving. You all are 33s, so that channel is pretty wide open. So see what comes in for you around this time and spend some time with it. Don't try to rush through it. Don't try to rush through the experience, or you might miss the magic. This is a time also where you could see some kind of gift come in, or greater success in some area of your life. And success is whatever that means to you, right? Inheritance of some kind from some kind of situation that existed in the past could come in at this time. So again, there's like this feeling of nostalgia. There's something from the past that could likely come in at this time that has the potential to help you to make some shifts, right? Or gain a deeper understanding, or find peace with something. That's also very possible. And since you all are 33s, I would say journaling is a beautiful option at this time. Spending time in nature, spending time with self can be very healing at this time, but not like, you're trying to heal old wounds. It's not that kind of energy. It's just more like you're becoming very centered within yourself, right? And just connecting to that divinity within yourself. It's a really beautiful cycle that y'all are moving through. Joy and contentment can really fill your heart at this time. And again, whether that's through a situation or something that's happening right now, or just a memory of something, right, can really fill your heart, which can feel really good. And this is such a beautiful time when you're feeling that beauty, to share that beauty and those feelings with those around you, or with others, right, through a platform that you might have. But to get that messaging out into the world, to share that goodness, if you feel like it, right? This might be something that's just very sacred and personal for you. And so go with how you feel, right? There could be some changes in your situation or your experience or environment at this time. So you could either find yourself kind of in new places with new people, or kind of in an old situation or environment that kind of brings in new opportunities or new relationships. That's very possible at this time too. So yeah, This is also a time I would say, because ultimately this is one energy, that you are kind of in this leadership role. You have an opportunity, whether it's through your messaging or your presence or whatever, to be that strong lead. And there are people who will follow, right? Who will get something from that messaging. So your presence is really powerful at this time, both physically, psychically, intuitively. Just pay attention to the messaging that comes in and then decide how you want to share that if you want to share it. But there will be certainly people who can benefit from it if you choose to. So yeah, this is a time too where I would say those bigger goals that you have, this is the time to get started, right? Get your plan of action. Figure out how you want to achieve it. First of all, figure out what you want, then figure out how you want to move towards it and make it happen. And it could be a goal that you had previously that you put down has now resurfaced. And this is an opportunity for you to, make it happen, to start that course of action. And I think you'll find that you have the support that you need to make it be successful. So I hope it's a great one. Take care, 33s. Bye for now. Life Path 44-8. So you are going to be working with the vibration of the 57-3. I feel like you guys have recently had this. This is going to be for a shorter cycle. It's just for this new moon. So a few days before, definitely, potent during the time of the new moon, and then a few days after. But the 57-3 is an interesting energy. Can feel very like almost like you're hyper emotional. Like things kind of might touch you a little bit more deeply. You might feel a little bit reactionary at times. It might be hard to kind of control your emotions around this time. And so I would say try to be very conscious about how you respond to certain stressors, to situations, to things that maybe you don't agree with, whatever might come up for you. It could also be, again, something from the past coming in that maybe trigger something within you and you have a very strong emotional reaction to it. This is a cycle where I would say the more that you can kind of come back to the present moment, get grounded, sort of maintain a very logical approach to those emotional situations that come up for you now, sort of the more that you're going to feel more kind of in control of the situation, right? And again, it's not about suppressing or bypassing those emotions. It's just about finding ways to work with them in a much more constructive way. It's definitely one of those cycles where it's like you could say something you don't mean or do something you regret later because of the emotional charge. So, and you all, you're double fours. So in 4 energies, there's a very strong emotive side to the 4. It's very sensitive, intuitive, but it's under that layer of, again, logic and sort of stoicism at times. And when those emotions come up, a lot of times people with strong 4 energy have a hard time dealing with those emotions. And so this is an opportunity to kind of flex that muscle a little bit. This is also an energy where, this is one of those times where you could see see a lot of ups, but also experience some of the downs that will ultimately come from those ups, right? A lot of times we see ups and downs in life. That's just part of the journey. And so this could be one of those cycles where, a lot is working in your favor, a lot is going well, but there's also those downs, those heavier moments that also have to be acknowledged and sort of dealt with. So the thing I would say to help you to really move through this cycle so that again, your emotions don't get the best of you, you don't get stuck in that sort of heaviness or overwhelm where you just say no to everything, is to continuously find outlets for your creative expression, right? To be able to express whatever you're feeling, the moods that you might be experiencing constructively. That's going to be so incredibly important. So funnel your energy as much as possible during this time into music, poetry, writing, painting, acting, whatever comes up for you. Or again, immersing yourself in nature. Just find constructive outlets for the energy. Don't let it come out in a destructive way, because you're going to have to obviously clean that up and deal with the consequences of that. And so it's much easier, even though it doesn't always feel like it, it's much easier to, in the moment, pause, come back to neutral as much as possible, and find an outlet for that charged energy. And it's much easier said than done, especially when you're in the moment. And that's why you're getting being put on notice that this could be a sensitive cycle, right? So you just want to know that you have the power to work with it in the most constructive way possible, but you have to do the work in order to do that. There could be some separations that come in at this time, even some maybe disappointments when it comes, especially to like love relationships or those deeper connections. That's very possible. You might just feel like you're a little bit isolated at this time, or that people aren't understanding what you're trying to convey. And it can just feel a little bit isolating, right? And again, it just kind of feeds into this being kind of a sensitive period, and you just have to find your way through the emotions, and you'll recognize that you're not as alone as you thought maybe you were, right? I would say definitely this is a time for growth, greater growth for sure, greater self-discovery. You can use the experiences of this cycle for that growth. And the wisdom, remember, you all are the wisdom keepers. The wisdom that you gain from this cycle should be made available to those around you. So again, once you've had some time to move through the experience, process what you've been through, right? Sort of extract the wisdom, you'll be able to use that wisdom in a way that can be very constructive and can help more than just yourself. So really, really beautiful opportunity to gain a tremendous amount of wisdom during this cycle. And it's a new moon, so it's going to be new wisdom that you haven't tackled before, or putting old wisdom to some kind of greater use. Beautiful energy, but just be prepared. It might be a little bit sensitive, but nothing you can't handle. Take care, 44s. Bye for now.